If Hatsune Miku were in WWE, I think she'd be a halftime pay-per-view attraction to give everyone a breather from the wrestling. We started SummerSlam 2014 in Los Angeles, right between Seth Rollins vs. Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho vs. Bray Wyatt. Speaking of Jericho, Fozz's When the Lights Go Out is one of two of the pay-per-view's theme songs, so ideally that pay-per-view would want Fozzy to play that song at halftime, but for the sake of this what if, Miku sings the following: World is Mine, Disappearance of Hatsune Miku, and Intense Singing of Hatsune Miku. In that order because she could tell the story of her life, death, and rebirth before promoting Magical Mirai, the Japanese Vocaloid concert right after. Hell, Jericho could make an angle out of this. There's an obvious language barrier, but I say music is a universal language that transcends those barriers. Between World is Mine and Disappearance, the concert takes a moment to acknowledge the live band members, and between Disappearance and Intense Singing, there's a 30-second pause in total darkness, aside from those waving glow sticks in the crowd, before the latter song builds. I'll provide a link to what I'm talking about in the description. Miku's hologram will be set up Pepper's Ghost style and will never be displayed on a giant LED screen, which would ruin the illusion for fans. Speaking of fans, from what I've seen, Miku's is always the first name they chant anytime they attend her concerts. However, depending on the WWE crowd's reaction to the Vocaloid, this will either be her first and last concert in WWE, or there will be many more in the future. I'm leaning towards the latter. Let's see, Miku will perform in WWE for 1 decade, so halfway into the decade, let's hit Toronto with a tribute to the late great Wawaka in 2019, starting with Rolling Girl, continuing with Unhappy Refrain, and ending with Unknown Mother Goose. Could the tribute take place at WrestleMania 35? Maybe, as that pay-per-view took place 3 days after Wawaka's death, but August is usually where Miku peaks because that's when Magical Mirai takes place. Patience is a virtue, which is rich coming from me. Anyway, fast forward to SummerSlam Cleveland this year, her final performance. Miku will not only bring us full circle by singing World is Mine again, but she'll also sing Sand Planet, which basically describes the waning Vocaloid fandom unless something like a storm brings attention to it. Afterwards, she starts crying on stage and thanking the audience for 16 years as musical sensation, canonically 16 years of being permanently 16, and 10 years of entertaining her fans at WWE. Finally, and speaking of storms, she wraps up her tenure in WWE by singing the batshit insane hyper-reality show, which is a heavy metal banger that says, hey, now this is real, isn't it? Life is a scripted simulation, just like pro wrestling as a whole.